Hi y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Maverick Moses. I'm a writing coach, avid reader, and author of the soon-to-be self-published YA dark urban fantasy novel Karma's Children Discovery, the first book of my Karma's Children trilogy series. Today I'll be sharing my book review of Gwendy's Button Box, a novella by Stephen King and Richard Chizmar. The story takes place in Castle Rock, which if you're a diehard Stephen King fan, you'll recognize as a reoccurring town in over 30 of his books, including some of his most notable ones like It and Dr. Sleep. In the summer of 1974, Gwendy Peterson runs up the suicide stairs to get to Castle View, and one day she meets a mysterious man on a park bench. He wears a black suit and a top hat and offers her a strange little gift, a small box with buttons on the top and levers on the side. From that day on, Gwendy's life would never be the same and the nightmares would begin. I'd like to start off by saying that I'm not a die-hard Stephen King fan and I've read all of his books. The books that I have read I enjoyed and thought were pretty creepy, so when I saw this novella by him, I was intrigued and had some high hopes. Mainly, I thought that because it's a novella, it would be a little bit more fast-paced, and in the end, I found myself being pretty disappointed. It was fast-paced, just not in the good way. Throughout the 170 pages of this novella, we see Gwendy Peterson grow from being a student in middle school to graduating college. Almost every chapter skipped ahead in time, and while this skipping ahead may have been important to the storyline because we get to see how Gwendy Peterson grows and how the button box changes her life, but this formatting made it impossible to connect with the character. And connection in any genre is important, but especially in thrillers like this because you need to be scared for the character, and I just never found myself getting scared for her. And speaking of scared, this was supposed to be a thriller. I was thrilled once, maybe twice in the whole book. As I said, the timeline skipped ahead a lot, but rather than introducing a new puzzle or a chilling event, we see a lot of little mediocre events as she's growing up, like going to the arcade or getting her driver's license and getting her first car. While these scenes were probably meant to develop the character and show where she's at in that point in time, it just contributed to the fact that you're never able to connect with her. We see her attitude and personality changing as she grows, but we don't see how it all changes. We don't see the process of it all. Imagine having a childhood friend that you see for 5 minutes every 3 years. Would you feel close to them? Another aspect of the thriller part that failed was the expectation of these chilling nightmares that the synopsis says Gwendy Peterson has. I think she had like 2 nightmares, and each nightmare was described in like 2 or 3 sentences. This is a Stephen King book, the king of nightmares and horrors, and to have these little nightmares be the nightmares that's portrayed in the synopsis was pretty disappointing. Other than the nightmares, there are a few creepy exploratory scenes with the button box, but nothing that really ever gave me chills. This all leads up to the end. There's one action-packed scene towards the end that I actually really enjoyed, but a few pages later it wrapped up in the most non-epic way. Even the protagonist, Gwendy, seemed indifferent about the whole thing. Now, I'm sure she was probably a lot more horrified by it all, but like I said before, you could never connect with the character, so in the end she just seemed like a stranger to me. Now, on the more positive note, it was an interesting read. I was never hooked, but I was intrigued. The concept of the storyline was unique, and of course the words were beautifully written. There's even references to real-life events, which I always like seeing in books because it makes the story feel more real. In the end though, I decided to give Gwendy's Button Box by Stephen King and Richard Chizmar 3 stars. It was an interesting read, but I definitely expected much more. If you do decide to pick this up and give it a try, I'll leave a link in the description below where you can order it on Amazon. In other news, last week I announced that I will be hosting a Halloween night readathon, and I am challenging all of you to join me in it. Join me on Halloween night in picking up a horror book and reading all through the night, surrounded by darkness and using only a small reading light or small lamp to light up the book in front of you. If you can't make it the whole night, that's totally okay, maybe for just an hour or 2. The point of it is that I want you to try to read a horror book surrounded by darkness and using only that small reading light to light up the book, and let the creepiness of Halloween night and the darkness enhance your reading experience. I will be vlogging throughout the night of the process and my thoughts as I go along, and I will be posting that video on this channel, but I will also be doing live updates on my Instagram stories as I go through the night, so make sure you're following me on Instagram at author Maverick M if you want to see those. I will be reading Blooding by Charlotte Zhang, so feel free to order this and read along with me. I'll leave a link in the description below where you can order it on Amazon. This is your challenge too though, so select your book and join me on Halloween night, and feel free to post about this on Instagram and Twitter using hashtag Halloween Night Readathon and try to get your friends in on this too. Let me know in the comments below if you're going to be joining me for this Halloween night readathon and what book you think you'd be reading. If you want to read a little bit of a shorter book, then I would definitely recommend Chosen by R.S. Broadhead, and I'll leave a link to my review of this book down below in the description in case you want to check it out. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I post new videos twice a week, so don't forget to subscribe and help support my channel. I would really appreciate it. And be sure to also follow me on Instagram for more on my TBR list, my own writing, and see some cool, aesthetically pleasing Bookstagram photos. Then go friend me on Goodreads so we can connect more on our mutual love of books. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye! This is your challenge too though, so post the book. This is your challenge too though, so join. This is your challenge too though, so select your book and join me on Halloween night and try to